This video is sponsored by Midi Health, which if you weren't aware, is a virtual care clinic transforming women's health nationwide. If you're like me and you went to your regular doctor because you were feeling a little bit off, and you got your basic routine labs done, and everything came back normal, but you still didn't feel normal, let me tell you about Midi's longevity service, AgeWell. AgeWell provides guidance and care, including labs, prescriptions, supplements, and more for a variety of issues. They go beyond basic labs with quarterly checks of hormones, thyroid, cholesterol, blood sugar, and inflammation. During my personal visit, I felt really listened to by my Midi clinician. I didn't feel rushed at all, and most importantly, I didn't leave the visit feeling like the changes that I was noticing with my body were just all in my head. After our initial visit, I got my labs done, we went over the results together and set a plan. And what I really love about Midi is the retesting aspect, because from there we got to see what was working and what wasn't with the plan that we set, and we can make adjustments. It was all based on the data, there wasn't any guesswork, which I really appreciate because it puts me at ease. It helps me make important health-related decisions, which makes me feel more confident that I am choosing the right path for my health. And personally, after retesting, we found that we did have to switch up my care plan, and I'm happy to report that I'm back to feeling more myself and no longer a slave to hormonal fluctuations that disrupted my daily life. To get started with Midi, you just head to their site and let them know what kind of appointment you want. Then you put in some basic information and book your visit. Then you meet with your Midi clinician virtually. You have a chat, they gather any important information, and from there they can build you your own personalized care plan, which includes ordering any labs, prescriptions, or supplements. So if you'd like to experience compassionate, personalized care from the comfort of your own home, that's covered by insurance in all 50 states, I might add, go ahead and click that link in my description to book your own AgeWell visit with Midi. It's chore day here on the ranch. First and foremost, no chores. Me and Stevie are gonna go on a lunch date, and then it's off to the Home Depot, which admittedly is not my favorite home improvement store. Something about the vibe is just very chaotic in there. It's like I'm always dodging a forklift. I think it's just the more popular of the stores, so it's more busy, and therefore I'm like, I'll take Lowe's. I saw this reel where this guy was using like a natural weed killer instead of like chemicals, and I was like, I want to try that. And also, the door to the chicken run just got completely obliterated in the wind. Like, it's just jank, okay? Because we built it, first and foremost. Second of all, when we did the weatherproofing and put like the plastic up over like the chicken wire, it just acted like a huge sail and just it was going in that wind. So we need to rebuild that because we could have had a tragedy on our hands. Basically because the door was jank, it opened while the dogs were out in the backyard and nothing happened. The dogs and the chickens were just coexisting. I was honestly quite shook. Mavis is very gentle with like everything, like her and Chetty play. She's pretty gentle like when you hand her a snack. Doug is a little bit more sketchy. I don't know if I would trust him with the chickens, but they both were fine. So I might be interested in seeing if like they could coexist in a space, because if they could and we could have like a guard dog situation, not only would it protect the chickens against hawks, but then they could be out together instead of me like switching off blocks of time when, you know, like the dogs are out or the chickens are out. So I know I'd be curious to see if that would work out. But anyway, Stevie's coming now. We're gonna go eat. We had to make a slight detour because I saw an estate sale sign, and I do enjoy an estate sale. I didn't end up buying anything, but I am quite partial to looking at all the belongings different people accumulate over a lifetime. This house had a cool pull-behind camper thing that looked like a wooden spaceship. This is kind of cool. Yeah. Oh, and you have like a little kitchenette in the back, which nearly sparked my interest to take up camping, but it was $8,000, so I politely passed. It also had a chicken named Magnum and the obligatory cursed object. Then it was off to lunch, where I got this grilled chicken with chili and Swiss cheese, cottage cheese, and a salad on the side. Visually, it doesn't look too appealing, especially in fluorescent lighting, but it tastes fantastic. Then we finally made it to Home Depot to get supplies. I guess just regular, look. 30% vinegar is what we need. Steven asked if the Home Depot had a mini bucket like how Lowe's does, and I said no, of course not. Home Depot does not have the same amount of whimsy as Lowe's. And that's tea. Today we have to rebuild the door to the chicken run, but first, breakfast. Now, as a surprise to no one, I'm going to be having my standard egg scramble, but I'm going to be switching up a little bit because we are going to attempt some low-carb tater tots. What makes them low-carb is adding cauliflower instead of potatoes. So it's a taterless tot. I am just adding 10 ounces to this bowl, which is what you get in a standard frozen riced cauliflower bag. But I spent an exorbitant amount of time yesterday ricing my own. And normally this probably wouldn't have been such a big struggle. However, I bought probably the absolute worst tool for it. This thing is the most unintuitive piece of garbage that I've ever spent money on. So 10 out of 10 would not recommend the mini food chopper from KitchenAid. First of all, when I bought it, did not know it was mini, so the size in itself is a problem. Also, you have to have everything aligned just perfectly. It has no buttons. The lid is a real beach to get off, and you have to like align it just perfectly, and then the lid becomes the button to turn on the whole thing. It was terrible ricing 3 heads of cauliflower. And it really makes no sense to me why the food chopper was such garbage, because I just bought the KitchenAid blender. Fantastic, 10 out of 10 recommend. The design is really easy, very straightforward. It does what it's supposed to do. Purees like a dream. You know, for the first time I made asparagus soup, it wasn't chunky, it was actually like liquefied. Very impressed. I am just finally dicing some yellow onion to go in my tater tots. I just feel like it will help it a little bit maybe. But I found the same thing with the Our Place line. Like, these brands are just not consistent. Someone was asking me for a review on the Wonder Oven, like the air fryer thing that I bought. That thing is amazing. It's awesome. I use it for everything. I use it in place of the regular oven a lot of the times when the stuff that I'm cooking can fit in there. But I got their titanium, whatever the hell, cookware. Trash. Do not buy this, in my opinion. And keep in mind, I'm pretty rough on everything, but I feel like this isn't my fault. Like, this is brand new. And the first thing I cooked in it was like sausages. I was just browning them and then gonna throw them in the oven to finish cooking. Completely ruined the pan, like first use. But yeah, I thought that this was gonna be like a good alternative to stainless steel, which I have trouble cooking in, but I think I just need to invest in some decent stainless steel pans and learn to cook in them, or learn to cook better in general. I don't know, but was very sad about this because it was not cheap. I'm still trying to make this pan work, but because I burnt something to it and it scraped off whatever coating was there, which, by the way, they say these pans are indestructible. I guess maybe like I didn't destroy it, but I made it so it wasn't usable, so it's like a little bit of like a language thing. Anyway, that's my review. Wonder Oven good, pans bad. Blender good, chopper bad. I guess we'll go like 2 ounces of yellow onion, or it looks like maybe that's like 1/4 of a cup of yellow onion. I got some Fiesta blend cheese that I need to use up, so that's going to be my cheese source. You could probably use whatever cheese that you have. And I also don't know if these are going to turn out yet. I'm just kind of making something up. Okay, I went 3 ounces cheese, 2 eggs. And I'm going to season this with garlic powder, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. And you know what? I got the regular paprika out, but I think I'm going to put smoked paprika in there. And I would say I used about a teaspoon of garlic powder and a teaspoon of the smoked. She didn't recognize you in a hat?
I guess not.
Steven just walked into the kitchen in a hat and Mavis barked at him like he was an intruder.
Sure.
Maybe she is blind.
She might be.
Anyway, what I was saying was I used about a teaspoon of smoked paprika and a teaspoon of garlic powder, and then just like salt and pepper to taste. Like whatever you feel is right in that department. You want to make coffee?
I can.
You make better coffee than me.
Is that true? I just put it in a glass pot.
I do that too, but mine tastes like cigarettes and yours tastes better.
I put way more beans, so it should be the opposite.
Is that why? Then I'm just going to shape them in these nubbins and plop them on this baking sheet that I lined with parchment paper, and then also I sprayed with a nonstick because I have trust issues. Now this is very moist. I'm hoping once everything cooks it kind of congeals together. Steven was like, everything's cauliflower. Yeah, everything's cauliflower because in the real world, everything's made of potatoes. And when you're in the keto world, you can't eat potatoes. So you gotta replace it with another mild vegetable. I air fried these at 400 degrees for about 10 to 12 minutes. Okay, let's try out the tater tots. I like them pretty good. I would say like maybe an 8 out of 10. It's potato adjacent. I think next time I'll put the air fryer on a lower setting for longer to try to get it to crisp up a little bit more because it's a little bit more mushy on the inside than the outside. Still, that's a solid tot. It's gonna fall. Can you guys go away? Shoo shoo. Oh, a lot of eggs.
There's a wrinkly one.
I don't know when, if ever, I'm going to learn that the amount of time I think a project's going to take is probably going to take triple that amount of time. But it's been 34 years and here I am still doing it. So we did finish the door. It's up, it's working, it's functional. It's still janky. We thought we had ironed out all the kinks, but we didn't build the chicken run on flat land, so the door is like a trapezoid instead of a rectangle. This piece is longer than that piece. And we did do that part correctly. However, when we went to hang the door, this beam that it's all gonna connect to got warped. Because of that, we had a hell of a time getting the hinges to connect. So this middle one isn't attached to anything. It's just free flapping in the wind. And then come down here, this one we had to nail an additional piece of wood to this to make it reach, but it works. It's good for now. The door is secure. It's just still pretty janky. I think the next iteration of the door in maybe like 2 years, we're gonna replace this beam entirely with like a 4x4, you know, just something pretty sturdy that's not gonna warp. But I digress. Because this took so long, I didn't get to do the natural weed killer that I wanted to try out, so we're gonna go try that out now. The recipe is pretty straightforward, pretty simple, except for they child locked this. They knew what was coming. It's just this 30% vinegar, and that's not the amount that you put in here. It's just literally called 30% vinegar. I'm gonna put the whole damn thing in here. Maybe if I could get it open. What is wrong with me in opening things today? It is not going well. Alright, that's that. So just like the whole thing of the 30% vinegar. Whew, it's strong. Then about 1/4 cup of salt. This is about 1/3 cup because I didn't have 1/4 cup. And then a little bit of Dawn dish soap. I guess just for viscosity. And then I am just swirling that and letting that salt dissolve in there. My yard is lousy with weeds and we have a bunch of animals, so I don't want to use any kind of chemicals. So we're trying this. That should do.
Stinky.
30% vinegar.
That's what the stinky is.
Yep. Hope this works. Well, that big old jug didn't go very far at all. I will keep you updated on if it kills the weeds. It appears like the natural weed killer worked because, as you can see, all of this is dead. When it used to be like little growing things, I probably missed this guy. But for the most part, that's pretty good. Let's do dinner, ladies. The vision was sushi bake. However, when I went to the grocery store to pick up some imitation crab, like I did in a previous recipe, I just happened to like flip the back of the package and like take a look, take a gander, which I should have been doing anyway because I'm trying to follow a specific diet. And oh, sweet baby Jeebus, I did not realize how many carbs were in imitation crab, which don't get me wrong, fine. You know, if you are a carb consuming citizen of this world. But for me, someone who's trying to go the keto route, it's not really jiving with my goals. I just thought like it was white fish with like maybe some food coloring and some spices to make it appear crab-like. Nah. So I'm going to switch it up a little bit and use some shrimp. And also probably make it like more of a bowl situation and add some vegetables. I'm going to try to walk you through what I did here because this meal turned out pretty good. I just chopped up some cucumbers, radishes, and carrots to add a fresh crunchy element to the dish, and then started on the rice. And I'm saying rice with air quotes around it because it's not real rice, it's rice cauliflower. But I added furikake seasoning to this with a bit of avocado oil and toasted sesame oil to help with the roasting process. I mixed it and dumped it out on a parchment-lined baking sheet and popped it in the oven at 400 degrees for about 25 to 30 minutes. I then prepared the sauce, which is just 2 tablespoons of cream cheese. Ideally it's softened, but I forgot to soften mine, so I just mushed it around to make it more pliable. To that I added a tablespoon of ponzu sauce, 1/4 cup of Japanese mayo, and a teaspoon of sriracha for a little spice, and that turned out pretty good. Moving on to the protein, I just threw the shrimp in a skillet with some avocado oil, and then when they were cooked through, I just seasoned them with ponzu and soy sauce and chucked it all in a bowl. This was a large volume of food for not a lot of calories. I decided I really need to start having more shrimp meals because this was really good. Oh, and Steven wanted to show off his shrimp mountain.
I'll have the comparison.
Oh my god. There's a lot of little shrimps. Some of you are curious why I haven't been weighing in lately, and I kind of talked about this in a previous vlog, although I was very rambly and indecisive and also trying to figure out why I was in this like weird self-sabotagey loop. So I just wanted to kind of talk about it now. Although I am still kind of indecisive about what I want to do for weigh-ins in the future. I am still very much on a weight loss journey. I still plan on sharing all of the details with you and the data, the pictures, the measurements, the weigh-ins. I'm just not sure how frequently. Right now I'm kind of leaning toward a once a month kind of thing rather than weekly. It's just that in the past few weeks when I haven't been doing public weigh-ins, I have felt just like this tremendous amount of pressure like come off, if that makes any sense at all. I've been focusing more on like subjective things like how I've been feeling, eating foods that make me feel good, building habits and routines, and not on the number on the scale, which I think I just found myself giving too much merit to. You know, I was focused on like hitting a certain number, like putting too much pressure on myself, I guess. I don't know if you remember, but like it was this thing where I'd get down to my lowest weight, and then I would fall back, and then I'd get back down to my lowest weight, and then I'd fall back, and then it was just like that cycle over and over again. And I just found myself in this frustrated mindset where I'm like wanting to get out of this redundancy, but then keeping that loop going. And it was just kind of more exacerbated by the fact that like I'm documenting it, and it's like public, and then people's opinions, and it just made a hard thing harder. So I think taking a step back from the public weigh-ins has been the healthiest thing for me. And I have been feeling pretty good lately. Like I said, I'm still on a weight loss journey, still focusing on that. I just probably won't be sharing weekly what the scale says. Just kind of like back up on that pressure. And who knows, I might change my mind in the future. I might feel better about like posting weekly again. Because like I said, still indecisive about it. But right now I'm feeling pretty good. So I guess that's where we'll leave this one. I hope that explains some things. I just want to thank you for understanding. I hope you're having an amazing day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!